step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom, I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with, giving my blood so I am relentless.
This is a Keep Hammering Collective with James Gideon Williams. How many times is this for you?
I try to stay humble, but too many to count.
You're a one-man army designed to ruin this podcast. And you're like Rambo of podcast disaster.
I'm a silent assassin.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah, except you're not as silent enough because people listen to you, then they're like, fuck, I hate this kid.
Just know as much as you hate me, I hate myself more.
Yeah. I thought that I put up a little story about there's this, she must be from Canada because she's got the little sorry or weird accent, but she's always like saying like she's sitting there watching her shows on TV. I put it up last night and people say mean things or hateful things about her. And she's like, man, I already hate myself. So
that's me. Well, what's the saying? You can't say anything to me that I haven't said 6 inches from a mirror to myself.
I like saying I've heard worse from better. So that's not really about yourself. But.
Yeah. Well, all right. Got a couple topics, but you put up a Ask Me Anything. Mm-hmm. So I think we should run through a couple of these questions.
That's AMA.
Yeah. If you had one hunt left in your life, what and where would it be? And this one is from Willman1321.
It would just one hunt. Man, I'd like to draw this Winnahaw tag here in Oregon someday. They said I had 24 points, but I think I only have 23. But anyway, I've been putting in for it for decades, and it's Oregon's best elk hunting unit. So if I was going to have one left and I could draw that tag, it'd be cool to go public land in Oregon and kill. I mean, Oregon isn't known for giant bulls, but kill a big bull. I think that'd be pretty epic.
Being new to Oregon, is that like the best unit?
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one everybody puts in for. Wayne, you draw it one time and it's pretty much it. Cause like I said, I got 23 points and didn't draw.
Do you know, has Wayne drawn it?
Wayne had it. Yeah.
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 Did he kill a nice bull?
Yeah. I think like a 340 or 350.
How long ago was that?
Probably 10 years ago by now.
So he couldn't have had that many points at that point, or did he?
I think his dad had been putting him in since he was like 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And so I don't know how many points he had, but then I think his son had it, Nathan too. And he did. He killed like a decent bull, but Wayne's bull was nice. It was an Eastman's. It was a good story.
This is a good one, and I wonder about this too. So Compass Grid Labradors asks, what do you recommend for socks on 10K and higher? And the reason this is interesting is because I've seen you run without socks a lot.
Yeah.
Which, is that common?
No.
That's just you.
That's just, my stupid way of thinking is I'm toughening up my feet. So, I've been on a lot of hunts or even races where a blister, starts affecting your gait. And I've seen people quit on hunts because of fucking blisters. So, I'm never going to do that. But the theory in my head is to toughen up, callus up my feet a little bit by training without socks. And then when I race or hunt, obviously I'm wearing socks. So they're that much better off.
Yeah. You never know when you're going to need to go sockless.
Raw dog.
I was climbing with a buddy once and he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. So he leaves. I thought he was just taking a piss. Yeah. And he comes back wearing one less sock.
Yeah. Yeah. I would cut off a sleeve or the bottom of my shirt before I just gave up a sock. So I got to question that strategy.
Yeah. It's definitely questionable.
It wasn't Larry, was it?
No, it wasn't Larry.
Okay.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me if it was Larry. Larry might just wipe with his boot, then come back with just, one boot.
Larry's wiping with his hand.
Yeah. And thank God I didn't get this on my sock.
Well, on the topic of races and socks, what's your race schedule for the next year? That comes from user._JPW.
For the next year, do these people know how I schedule my life?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, so if there was a race tomorrow, I'd know about it. I sort of know about, I'm doing a 10K on Sunday. So yeah, I'm not really big on the schedules.
They also asked if you ever plan on doing a Cam Hanes 100 miler.
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, yeah, I'm not big on, I don't know, normally, like as busy as I've been, normally I'm like, I just got to get through hunting season, then I can recover. I got to, get through this race and then I'll get a little break, or I got this event or this appearance or this podcast, and then I'll, the lights at the end of the tunnel. You got a finish line right now. I told Trace this morning, I'm just like, I just got to get through this life, and I can finally get that break, that sweet break of death. Fuck, fucking, I'm hitting the wall, and I don't even know when. There's no end.
Yeah, there's definitely no light at the end of the tunnel at the moment.
So yeah, this retirement life is kicking my ass.
While I remember, at least, I thought it was interesting when Andy was here. You guys talked a little bit about wearing a watch, because you never wear a watch.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he's actually not opposed to, athletes not wearing a watch for pacing. I can't remember, or what was his reason to.
Yeah, because you just start chasing numbers instead of how you're feeling, and
Right.
You get too wrapped up in performance there. When in racing and running, I mean, a lot of time your body's going to give you what it can. So it's yeah. I mean, I think some people who are chasing numbers can end up screwing themselves up.
Yeah.
I just go by feel.
Yeah, someone asks about, given your this is a good segue, current slight injury.
Do not wear running shoes on the trail.
Let's dive into that a little bit, into a little more detail. I know you hate talking about injuries.
Yeah.
Why?
Because fucking so many people whine about stupid shit, and I just don't want to be adding.
Yeah.
I don't want to add to it, and nobody cares really. I mean, but I guess there's part of it too, because I do know people get injured, so they want to know, do I ever get injured, and how do I deal with it?
Right.
And so I understand that. I just don't. There's enough of that stuff out there that or whining or negativity, or so I never want to be like, woe's me, look what happened.
Right.
I'm gonna, whatever. So I just don't address it. But yeah, it's. I did mention when I put up that video yesterday that when you train every day, there's gonna be things that crop up. We're not invincible. We are mortal. There's gonna be injuries that happen. So for me personally, I just, if I'm hurt and I can't go at the same pace that I normally go at, I just go slower. Just kind of. That's it. Just do the best I can.
Yeah. No rest for the wicked.
It's probably best to rest and heal, and obviously that all makes sense. I mean, it's probably the smart approach, but yeah, that's not my style. So,
Have you always been like that?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I would, just because I don't, I think that rest and recovery is reserved for the talented. So
That must be why I rest and recover so much.
yeah, I mean, yeah, you're at that upper level.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just like, no, I can't afford to take time off. I can't afford to miss days training. I just don't have that luxury.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking with somebody just about my job and, how much fun it is. And then they were like, I could see the only downside being I don't think you're calling in to take a sick day anytime soon.
I saw you had the sniffles, so. Yeah.
One of the first weekend updates or solo podcasts we did with me on it, we kind of talked about your and Goggins' relationship, kind of how that came to be. And I think it would be cool to do that with some of these, elite people that you're friends with. So today I kind of wanted to dig into your relationship with Courtney. When did you first hear about her?
It was when I ran the Moab 240, and she was running it too, and I didn't know that. But at that time, I hadn't heard of her. This was like 2018 or 2017. But anyway, me and Taylor were running Moab 240, tough race, long race, obviously 240 miles. And I was trying to run smart, which I usually go out way too fast, but I was being conservative. So I kept checking in, like, who was leading the race. And they kept saying that this Courtney girl. And I was like, what? And it's like, where is she? And then they'd say, and she was way the hell out there. And I'm like, oh man, she must have, there's no way somebody could be that far ahead of the field already. And turns out she's a phenom, best in history. And so she won outright by hours, right? And I finished, me and Taylor I came in, and Taylor was like, I think 19 minutes behind me. And we were around maybe 10th or 11th, somewhere in there. I can't remember now, but so decent effort. 78 hours maybe is when we came in. So it was a tough test, but Rogan was tracking me during that race, but by proxy, he was also seeing Courtney was winning. So I talked to her a little bit, her and Kevin, her husband, after the race, just like briefly. I can't remember what. I think I had just finished, so who knows what kind of mental state I was in, but maybe just said hi. And she, of course, had been resting for like a couple days since she finished. And so she was fresh and I think sipping on a beer. But Rogan ended up, because of that, her performance there, just incredible performance, crushing it. He had her on his podcast. And then that kind of, just like I learned of her, a lot of other people learned of her. And also learned of these 200-mile races, which Candace Burt puts on, and she does a great job, and just a race director queen of these long ultras. So I really liked that two women who I really respect, Courtney and Candace, just started getting a lot of attention, but specifically Courtney, because she went on a run and has still been on that run, just unprecedented, just crushing ultras, setting course records. Doesn't look like she'll ever slow down. I mean, I think she's 38 and just seems like she's getting better and tougher and more dialed in. So I like hanging out with outliers. I like being around, it's that old adage, you're going to be kind of a combination of the 5 people you hang around. So to me, if I can hang around with all freaks and I'm some, schlub dipshit, I'm going to be a little bit better just by hanging out with them. So I'm like, yeah, so she's like the type of person who I want to hang out, learn from, get into the mindset of, and, just whatever, spend time. So we've done some really good trainings over the years. We did the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim, which is like 47 miles, I think. We did that in like 11 and a half hours, had some lemonade at the bottom. It was an awesome day. She was much fresher than I was when we came out of that South Rim. But that was fun. We've done 40 some mile runs there outside of Golden, Colorado. We did, I ran with her for 26 hours and I don't know how many miles, maybe 65 miles when she was going after the Colorado Trail record. So yeah, we've had some great adventures and want to make more of them, but mostly she's just an incredible athlete. But in an even better person. So as I said, that's the type of person I want to hang out with and try to learn from. And then I'm also fascinated by her performance and what makes her so good and how she can push so hard when anybody else in the world would dial it back because they're hurting. She can somehow lean into that. So that's why I've been fascinated with talking to these doctors like Huberman, like Andy Galpin the other day, about how can we measure willpower, heart, pain threshold, because I want to know, I want some data on how can she do it? How do you explain it? Because I'm just fascinated by it. I've been in those, she talks about the pain cave. I've really hurt in these races. And then it's, you're going against every instinct to keep pushing and push harder when your body's telling you to rest, dial it back. We need, fuel, calories, hydration, whatever it is. So there's like a point there where she can push, and the rest of the human race pulls back. So why? How?
Yeah, right.
Sig Sauer is leading the firearm outdoor industry in American innovation, ingenuity, and manufacturing. For over 250 years, Sig Sauer has evolved and thrived by blending American ingenuity, German engineering, and Swiss precision. SIG is synonymous with industry-leading quality and innovation, which has made it the brand of choice amongst the U.S. military, the global defense community, law enforcement, competitive shooters, hunters, and responsible citizens. That's why I have decided to partner with them for my personal protection and concealed carry of choice. SIG and I are working on some pretty cool collaborations for the archery community as well, and I'm thrilled to have them as a sponsor of the show. SIG is actually offering you guys a discount on optics too, which is unheard of in the industry. I'm looking forward to trying out their new image stabilizing binos, the Zulu 6 on my bear hunt in Alberta with the rivets. Those are also 10% off using code CAM at sigsauer.com. That's code CAM for 10% off.
I mean, I know one of your favorite quotes from Prefontaine is, "I want a suicide pace, and today's a good day to die." And we've kind of been talking about how, I know we talked about it with Andy or you, there's some people out there that are capable of pushing and to death. It's not obviously a common thing. Do you think that she's someone that could do that, push herself so hard that it's detrimental to herself?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, death, I don't know, but these hunters and 200s aren't good for you just in general. I mean, it's not like this is making you healthier. But yeah, she, man, I don't know. I think she could. I don't ever want that to happen, but yeah, I mean, there's that limit, but we're all trying to find the limit. Like, what's my limit? How hard can I push? What am I capable of? So finding that and then going too far. I mean, most people never have to worry about going too far because we stop way before that. Yeah. But for the special people like Courtney, that line of pushing as hard as you can, reaching new thresholds, and then or going too far, that's pretty that thin line, razor edge.
So on that Colorado trail, when you ran with her, at what mile did you jump in?
I came in at like 2 something. She'd been going for a few days, I think, 3 days. So I think I can't remember where, but I know I ran with her to like 285. She was at 285 total. And then she made it to 309 before she had to go to the emergency room. She was having serious health issues.
Yeah, you talked about that the other day too. Like, you started to pick up the pace a little bit because you wanted to go on and just kind of check things out. Yeah.
Me and Kevin was on this one stretch with us, and there's a big. I mean, you could look at the bottom and you see this big climb we had to do, and so. I just wanted to kind of push, get up it, because I've been going for a while too, not for 4 days or 3 days, but you go for 26 hours. I mean, you notice that, right? So I'm like, I just want to get up this hill. And so I was pushing kind of hard. Kevin was, kind of right there too. He's in good shape, an ultra runner himself. And I thought because Courtney was struggling, it was going to take her time probably coming up that hill, it was a pull. And so, like I said, I was going hard. She'd been going for 4 days at this time, something like that, over 200 miles. And I look back thinking, well, she's going to be at the bottom of the hill, probably picking her way up. She was right there. And I'm like, how in the hell? Because I thought I was pushing hard. Kevin was, it wasn't like easy. And there she was. They're just incredible. Even with all these health issues she was having, even with the hundreds of miles on and the days and no sleep, still, it was incredible. Yeah. So that's just a glimpse into her heart or willpower, which that's what is fascinating.
Yeah, it definitely is. It would be really cool to somehow get some metrics on, her performances and what she's capable of.
Yeah, it's weird too, because, I was talking to Galpin about that, about like VO2 max, we talked about animals, their VO2 max, talked about Lance Armstrong, his was up 89 or 90. And then, if you look at an athlete and their VO2 max is this number, then you'd say, well, this guy who's racing him is down here, so there's no way he can beat him, right? But that's just one metric. So it takes more than one metric to be superior in regards of the activity. So yeah, I wouldn't say that we'd look at like if there's a metric for willpower and she was at whatever it was, way above whatever, that's just one part of it. But it is an interesting part, just like VO2 max. I just want to see the full spectrum of why does this magic formula work where she's just, the best in history of women endurance. Yeah. Or maybe almost human endurance because she's getting close to that overall.
Yeah. Obviously I've never met her, but from what I've heard, she just sounds like a super humble person.
Yeah. So it's like irritatingly humble. I'll like try to get her to say something about her. Never. She'll never talk about herself. So, I was trying to trick her a million times on the podcast and just not going to happen. So I don't know. I mean, maybe she was drunk or something. Maybe that's the key.
She's just drunk on all these runs.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she'd like give me a secret, her training secrets or racing secrets, something. So,
well, I mean, that makes me curious. Do you think she would be open to, doing those tests and having those metrics even? Like the podcast I've listened to with her on it, she's just like, I just run.
Yeah, I know. I know. I don't know. I think she cares more about that type of, I don't know. All I know is I think she taught biology, right? So obviously she cares about science.
Yeah.
And most people who are interested in stuff like that would care about their body and like performance and how can they be better and what can we learn. So I would think, just as a rule of thumb, knowing her and her history, but the way she acts, no. Yeah. So I don't know if there's how we get that sweet spot, but I'd love. I don't know. I'd just love to, I don't even know what machines you hook them up to, but hook her up to some machines, check lactic acid, check VO2 max, check whatever, and just try to get some data that correlates with her performance.
Yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Out of all the adventures you guys have done, what's like the one that you are the fondest of?
I didn't really like the Colorado Trail because I didn't like seeing her hurting like that. But the Grand Canyon was the best for sure. Yeah. That was super fun and so beautiful. And we saw a bighorn sheep. We saw, I don't even know what else, but had that lemonade, which I freaking needed because I was dried out after all that. But it was just a good adventure. And then her husband was up at the top with Billy Yang, who's also a filmmaker. And so we filmed a little bit of that for Billy's thing. And I think we did a podcast too in the hotel room, and that was good. I really like Billy. He does great work. And, of course, Kevin is Courtney's husband, is just the nicest guy ever. So yeah, it was fun. Fun time.
Would you do that one again?
Oh yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Love to do it like every weekend. Yeah. It's just hot as hell right now.
So out of everyone do you think she's the toughest?
She's, Roy was pretty dang tough. I'm looking at this right here. It says Roy tough.
Yeah.
So Roy, I don't know.
She's up there.
She's, definitely up there. Goggins is tough. I'm lucky. I'm super fortunate to have spent time with some of the toughest people in history.
Right.
Nobody really knows Roy except, hunters, but he was legendary in what he could overcome and his attitude in overcoming it. And, just his approach to any challenge in the mountains was extraordinary. And then Goggins, he's, larger than life, spent quite a bit of time with him. We've done a lot together. And then Courtney. So I'd be all three of them. You couldn't go wrong with saying they're as tough as they come.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to rank them.
No. Yeah. And I mean, I wonder, people like that, if it's an innate ability or it's like we've talked about, how do you measure that, but
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because Goggins might be a chip on his shoulder, just a hard childhood. So he's got this resentment, and that's like, that fuels him, or proving people wrong, or having doubters, which I get because that fuels me a lot too. But then, Courtney had, by all accounts, a good childhood, came up loving parents, brothers, so where did that turmoil, kind of forge? People can be forged in the fire, essentially. And then Roy also, great family, 5 sisters, him, I think, or maybe 4 sisters, but mom and dad, best. His dad probably was pretty tough. I think he was, Roy worked for Roth Construction, so being a contractor, you're going to be tough. So he might have been tough on him as far as work ethic wise, but very loving dad. Yeah. So it's like, where did that edge or that drive or the will to just keep fighting, where did that come from? Because it's not like there's not a standard, like, oh, here's a formula.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sure there'd be some way to test pain tolerance, but it probably wouldn't be ethical.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. And there's something too about just testing pain tolerance, just to test pain tolerance, or when you're dealing with pain to achieve a goal.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like a lot of people would quit if you're just saying, okay, I'm going to shove this nail through your hand as slow as possible and tell me when to stop, or get through this race and it's going to hurt that bad.
Right.
But there's like a goal,
yeah.
So it's different. It's just like, how bad did this person on that day want to achieve this goal, and what are they willing to suffer or sacrifice to get to it?
Right.
And on some, maybe the next day they wouldn't have pushed that hard, or maybe the day before it wouldn't have meant that much. But on that day, that's what's so impressive about Courtney is she shows up for these races and everybody's like, oh, there she is. She's going to win. And there's no guarantee on these things. You don't know what your body's going to do, but she's able to perform on that day pretty much every time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Consistently.
Yeah.
It's funny, the contrast between her and Goggins. It's like Goggins, when he overtakes someone, he's taking someone's soul.
Yeah.
But she is like, hey, you're doing great,
Yeah, I know. It's a night and day different, but both just badasses.
Yeah. Yeah, that's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, moving forward, speaking of being really tough, we're going back down to be on the movie set.
Yeah.
That's fun. But before that, we've got the Lift, Run, Shoot event this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Starts tonight at the Bow Rack. Big fun day on tomorrow, and then a run on Sunday.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see everybody. So many of my partners have come in and are playing part of this. It's so cool. Plus, getting everybody down there at the Bow Rack with the rivets cooking up bear meat. It's I don't want to say once in a lifetime, because I'm not trying to make myself seem like it's some big thing, but it's like it's a pretty unique experience, because everybody sees the Bow Rack, they hear about Wayne and Lisa. It's like this whole thing, right? And so to be able to go down there and experience the Bow Rack in all its glory, and to get a brand new bow, which we got 20 people coming in, brand new bow getting set up by Wayne and all, Trent and all the guys down there who are so good at working on archery equipment. So custom setup with the bow, hang out, eat bear meat. Just everybody likes hanging out. Going to the Bow Rack is basically like going to a bar for a drinker. It's like you go and you tell hunting stories and you hang out with a bunch of people you like. So it's a pretty special environment. And then with all the partners there, Hoyt, Jeremy Eldridge is here, Grizzly Coolers, Go Hunt, Lorenzo and his team is here. It's Mountain Ops, of course, are a big part of this whole event. It's I don't know, it's kind of like a dream come true, because I've done this lift, run, shoot thing. And, when I first started, I would definitely get criticized by a lot of guys who don't want to really train to hunt, which is fine. They can do whatever they want. I never have told anybody what they should do. I just say what I do. So, but it's cool from being criticized for what I do to now being able to share it and have people want to come and experience it for themselves and have it be this life altering thing. Right. Because everybody who was here last year just said it was the best time of their life. They, it was better than they ever expected. So it means a lot to me. I'm just excited just to share the next 3 days with everybody.
Yeah. I wasn't here last year for it, so excited to hang out with everyone and see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, that's all I had on my list.
Yeah, I got to go get some Midol for my ankle or my foot.
Your foot. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So this is going to be, here's my special goal for this week. We're going to do 5 podcasts this week. We're doing Andy Monday, Cam Canada, NFL veteran Tuesday, Gideon,
the biggest loser on Wednesday,
Unleashed on Wednesday. I'm not sure. I think Lorenzo from Go Hunt maybe Thursday, and then maybe Eric McCormick, used to train me for years, total badass, one of the best trainers out there. Outlaw Strength is hopefully Friday. So next week, when this comes out, we're going to have 5 new podcasts, 5 days, a podcast extravaganza. Leave your comments, download the podcast. Let's get I'm going after Rogan's approach because he'd say he floods the market. That's how he stays up top.
Right.
So I'm going to flood the market. The difference is Rogan has like an Elon Musk or a Joe Biden, and I got Gideon.
And you've got an autistic cameraman.
Right. So it's like, I mean, I got the numbers, like, as far as the number of podcasts, but I'm not sure if the downloads are going to.
Yeah. At least not on mine. The other guests are much better, just not me.
No, for whatever reason, I had somebody say specifically, I love the podcast with you and James. And then I was just like, are you fucking with me?
Well, I guess we know that they're on drugs.
Well, no, it wasn't, because that was John Rivet. So he's 100% sober, and I'd totally believe him. So, I mean, we make fun of it, but people do like you. People do like your personality.
For whatever reason.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's, you don't get much positive affirmations from me, but you do a good job at this co-hosting thing. I think we need to get Rihanna in here if she can carry that belly over here somehow one of these days.
I don't know if I'm kind of thinking she's just lying about being pregnant.
Yeah, she's just a big drinker. That's a beer belly now.
It hasn't grown or shrunk.
No, she's been pregnant for 2 years. So it's like, I'm not sure what's going on.
Apparently it kicks.
Yeah. All right. Well, so stay tuned. We got another new podcast coming out tomorrow, and make sure you listen to them all.
Perfect.
Keep hammering.
Every step I take, I move my truth. Every time they tell me stop, I use. Every comment, hate that makes my fuel. Gather up my energy and boom. I hear them talking, saying the way that I move is so reckless. That is a part of my mind I've been blessed with. Giving my blood, so I am relentless. My fault, they want someone to blame. They send their hate, it fuels my pace. I am Roy Tough, I am the change, the fuel in dirt. Feeling like Cam Hanes.